everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today we're talking about limes and how to preserve limes. If you have a few too many, or maybe you've got some that you thought you were going to use and you couldn't use it fast enough, it's starting to age and you want to preserve it, you can do that. You can preserve the zest and the juice to be used later. First, you want to wash your limes for sure. Wash them really, really well. And if you want to preserve the zest, you can do that. Zest it really well. And you can dry that zest to be used later on. Store it in an airtight container in a cool, dry place. And when it's dried, you want to bear in mind that it's going to shrink up. So you want to use about a third of what is called for. Let's say our recipe calls for a teaspoon of fresh lime zest. You want to kind of guesstimate at about a third of a teaspoon for that same purpose, and that way you won't overdo on the lime zest. And for best flavor, you want to use it within a year. Now that you've zested that lime and dried the zest, you can also preserve the juice as well. You want to just squeeze that juice and put it in the little cubes of ice cube trays, freeze it, transfer the cubes once they're frozen into an airtight container or a freezer bag, and store it in the freezer until you're ready to use it. But you do want to try to use it within 3 to 4 months. It'll be edible beyond that, but if you want the best quality, the best flavor, you want to use it up as quickly as you can. Now you can also freeze fresh lime zest to be used later on. You don't have to dry it if you don't want to. Wash your lime, zest the lime, and then spread that zest out on parchment paper, on either a plate or a tray of some sort. Put it in your freezer. And then when it's completely frozen, you want to break up any chunks that are there and put it in an airtight container and store it in the freezer. And you want to try to use that frozen zest within 6 months, okay, for best flavor. You can use it while it's frozen. You don't have to thaw it out first. Now bear in mind that once it's frozen, it's not going to compact like fresh zest would. Let's say you want a teaspoon of fresh zest. If you take a teaspoon of frozen zest, it's not going to be quite as much as if you took a teaspoon of fresh zest, because the frozen has the ice crystals in there and it won't compact down in your teaspoon. So you want to over measure a little bit. Instead of a level teaspoon of fresh zest, if it's frozen, you might make it a heaping teaspoon. There's no exact science to this, so it's impossible for me to say exactly how much extra to use, but just over measure a little bit, and that should help to compensate for you. Well, I do hope this helps you out. Take care. Bye for now.